After decades of broken politics in Washington, 8 years of failed policies from George Bush, and 21 months of a campaign that has taken us from the rocky coasts of Maine to the sunshine of California and everywhere in between, we are 1 week away from changing America.
Well, as the U.S. election campaign enters its final week, law enforcement officials released information about a plot to assassinate Barack Obama. Police arrested 2 men in Tennessee for plotting to kill him and 88 other African-American students. Join me now with more on the plot and the last week of the campaign is Solon Simmons, a professor at George Mason University in Washington this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Beverly.
Well, tell me what you think, and we're going to be dealing with the security aspect of this kind of threat in just a couple of minutes as well, but what will it mean politically? What could it mean on the campaign trail in this last week?
Well, this falls into the broad class of what we call October surprises, and it's not clear what happens with them, if they affect one candidate, benefit them, or another. It seems that this one is, although lurid in its details, perhaps not as serious as it first appeared, and so it may not play a very big role at all, although it does clearly highlight some of the racism that's still rampant in the campaign and some of the vitriol that was coming out of the negative moments of the McCain-Palin campaign. So if anything, it would, I would think, benefit Barack Obama, although it probably will not have a huge effect.
Okay, so, you know, back on the campaign trail, there's been a lot of discussion over the past couple of days, well, certainly about Sarah Palin's wardrobe, but about her coming off script, her potentially positioning herself for a run in 2012. What do you think?
Well, part of this is simply what happens when a campaign is behind, that you have people who are leaking, and they could be leaking strategically. Sarah Palin is running, I think that she's saying things like she's talking about her wardrobe, whereas the campaign would like her not to, but she does so very well, and so I think could actually help their campaign in doing that. But also you have a kind of a historical challenge for the conservative movement that's governed Washington for roughly 40 years, off and on, and that challenge is between the 3 crucial elements: foreign policy conservatives, economic conservatives, and social conservatives. And the social conservatives and economic conservatives are fighting it out. And the only link they have is foreign policy, hawkish policy. And that is the glue that John McCain brings. So we'll see what happens as we move to 2012, which of these forces carries the day. They once were nicely integrated. They no longer are. Yeah,
and then, so what do they have to do? I mean, they're obviously behind in the polls. What would they have to do to pull this out for the Republicans?
Well, they're hoping for a Dewey defeats Truman moment where John McCain comes from behind and surprises everyone. What they're trying to do is they're trying to take Obama's stand on progressive economics and common sense regulation, as he calls it, and paint it as class warfare, socialism, and redistribution. And Joe the Plumber is their main symbolic vehicle for that. Now, we're going to see if that's going to work. It's a good line for them, but it's a hard sell in tough times like these where you're trying to get people to replace their expectations with their aspirations, what they think they could do rather than what they actually are. And that line will work better in flush times than in lean.
Solon Simmons, great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.